Hello adventurers and welcome. My name is Ken and I appreciate you being here today to join me with the second part of the maps tutorial for Flying Orc. What we'll be doing is, in the first part we've discussed already how to set up the alignment of the map and how to get it, like the grid placed correctly and actually import a map. In this video what we'll be doing is showing you how to set up the windows, the doors, the walls, that kind of thing. This gives you more of an immersive feel when your players are walking through specific and set maps. Now, if you, I've already discussed in the last video how to download maps and how to find really good ones, but if you want to use this map here with me today and you're just joining me for this video, I've included a Patreon link below to a free post that I've put up with this map. Absolutely free, just feel free to download it from there. Now, what we'll do is, we have our various things like lighting. We could set that up first if we wanted to, but what we'll do is we'll focus on walls first, and then I'm going to go through the different lighting and lighting effects and how to make these things look a little bit more immersive. And then if there's any questions or anything, you can always let me know down below as well. So the first thing we have is our tools here on the left. The first tool is just the select tool, so you can select walls that you may have already placed. The second tool is drawing just standard walls. So you just click on one point, let go on another point, and it will drag that wall, and now that wall is there as a feature. The third one is how to create terrain walls. Now, terrain walls are a special type of feature where maybe I'd put a terrain wall here. It means that they can see the object behind the wall, but not beyond that. I'll show you that in a second. The next one is invisible walls, which I would use for, say, windows, for example. You have then ethereal walls, which is a wall that if you place this here, they may not be able to see through this point, but if the token is standing here, they could walk through this, but they wouldn't be able to know what's behind it until they went through. The next one is doors, which I would place, like, for example, right here. So I can click and drag to right here. And then that would be my door structure. There we go. And then the last one is secret doors. So if I put a secret door down and then I just go here, the player couldn't see it, but I could open and close the door for them, meaning that they could go through. Now, if you've placed a token you didn't mean to place, you can always click on it, press delete on your keyboard, and that will delete the wall for you, okay? Now, what we have here is a wall that's just not snapping quite right. You see the way it starts at the top right of the door, goes to the bottom left of the door. I don't quite like that. So if I wanted to place it here, I would hold down my shift key when I'm letting go. And now it fits the door just ever so slightly better. And once I have that done, my door is there, let's just say. That's going to bother me. There we go. What I can do then is if I want to add my wall, so you see the way this is like a line here and then a line here, instead of clicking and dragging and clicking and dragging, and then like basically instead of going like this, you still have to hold down shift to get it lined up again. And then how do I connect these two? I would probably have to place it here, place this here. That's a really frustrating way of doing it. So what you can actually do is you can click control while you're holding down this section here, and it will automatically place a wall for you whilst you connect to the point. So I'll show you here. So I just click normal here with my left mouse. And before I let go here, I hold down control and I keep control held down. I let go of control here because I don't want to place another wall after this. I just place this wall. Then I click here. Again, I hold down control, let go of the wall there while I'm holding control, and then let go of the wall and control at the same time. There you go. And so you can just do this to very quickly and easily make your way around corners and to sort of fill these things out very quickly. So for example, if I wanted to do the windows, right? So I get my invisible walls, I hold down control from here, I let go of control, let go of my wall here. I do the same thing there. Now I'm just hammering walls down at a rapid pace. So I do this again. I do this again. And from here, I don't need to do it because I just have to hold shift so that it fits, but that's okay. And so what we do is I'm going to fill this out very quickly with you as we go through. So same thing. I'm just going to all of my windows. Don't need to hold shift on the straights, just on the ones that are at odd angles. You go through here. This is a nice big window, so I'll just do this here. I believe that's everything. Perfect. So now what I can do is I can grab my normal walls again, hold down control, move my thing up here, hold the control, keep control held down, let go of control. There we go. You see? And it's just that easy. And then you're absolutely flying through getting the wall set up. For the most part, we've already finished most of the exterior building. For here, I just keep control held down. I do this. Now for this one, I let go of control and I hold shift, and that will connect it to there for me. Again, control to control. This one, because it wasn't actually in place, what you do is you pick it back up and hold shift. There you go, so that it's connected. You don't want the players to be able to see through it. Same thing again, so control. And this one's definitely going to need me to hold shift. You see that? Just place it on top, and then the players again won't be able to see through the wall, but they will be able to see through the window, which is the point. And that is the exterior building done. Now, the interior, I've got some extra features here, like doors and stuff. So what I can always do is, so I'll set up my wall so that it reaches this point. I just want it to be right on top of it so that it doesn't have an odd jut sticking out there. And same from here, I can hold control and bring it over to here. I've got a door, okay? So same thing. So I might as well, actually, what we'll do is we have a door there. So we'll do it from here instead. And line that up. A little bit tricky on these because they're angled, but that's kind of the point of this map right now, is to just be kind of any strange encounter you might come across. Here, this is nice and small, but I'll hold shift anyway while I'm doing this because I want to make sure that this is lined up. Same thing, so I can do this. Now, here there's no connection point, so how would we do this? So at the beginning, I showed you that you can just create a path here and then just drag it out. Do you see that? So you just drag the path down and then connect it, and you can reshape it any way you want. So this is probably the most effective way to do that. And you start like really flying through this. When you get more comfortable with it, it starts to become a lot easier. And it may look complicated at first. I remember when I started doing this, I think it was Roll20 I started this process on. I used to think it was very daunting and it took a long time, but using the process of holding keys and everything, it just becomes a much, much quicker thing. Again, same thing. So from here to here, hold down control from here to here, keep control held down, here to here. Same thing. That's it. That's my entire map walled up and ready to go in terms of basic wall structure. Now, what I'll discuss with you is why this is important. I'll add my doors. And what we'll do is, if you accidentally like hold control, by the way, so if you hold control and then it like brings it out, you can just click, before dropping it, you can always just click right mouse, and that will let you just instantly undo what you just did, which is great. Bring this up. There we go. Let's say, for example, I want a hidden bathroom. Why would I want that? I don't know. I'm just a crazy DM that way. So let's say I want a hidden bathroom. What I can always do is have my secret door here. And then only I know where that door is. It'll show me, but it won't show the players where that door is, right? Now, let's bring Reno out. I've reset the fog of war on this map, so he can see through these windows, but he has no idea what's going on in this map because the walls are in place. So if I have Elise here, for example, behind the door, he would have no idea. He can walk up to the windows, he can look inside, and he'll remember what he sees, absolutely. But that's effectively it. He can walk all the way around the building. Of course he can. That's actually a really good point to touch on too. One thing I really like to do is I'll grab a wall, a main wall, and I will take it from right here all the way over to here and do that the whole way around the map so that your players don't just wander off into the void. Here you go. So for them, they just see this kind of view, right? But they can go around, they can see inside the screens and stuff, but they can't, if you press up here, they can't go in. Now what you can do as the DM is you can just drag them in. If you wish, you can absolutely do that, meaning you can have secret areas on the map. You could just put one player in and say, oh, you fell down a hole, now you're inside this place or whatever. They can walk up and they can open the door and bam, there's Elise standing there. If they close the door, they remember what was here in terms of tables and stuff, but you'll notice that the tokens are gone. So if they choose to run outside and hide, for example, during a combat, they won't know if the enemy's right behind the door, if they've run this way or if they've run away. And meanwhile, Elise, she can just head off. We switch back to Reno, and suddenly Elise is gone, you see? Now there's a little line here, which means that I worked one of the walls just a little bit. There's just something here clipping. So if that happens, what you do is same thing. So just set this up again and just drop it down. It's a little bit off center, but that's okay. But now you can see there's no strange line or strange clipping. It can happen sometimes when you're on a strange angle like that. It can just happen. So the next thing I want to show you is if I bring Reno over here, and we stand him next to this window, and we stand Elise over here next to this window, they can see each other no problem. But this fireplace looks huge, right? So how would we do that? Let them see the fireplace, but not see each other. So you go back into your wall structure and you take the terrain walls and you simply border whatever it is you want in the terrain wall like this. And now if I take a look through Reno's perspective, he can no longer see Elise, but he can actually see, he can walk over the tables or whatever, but he can see like the actual fireplace itself, but he can't see Elise. Now what I usually do is I border my statues and tall things like basically statues, fireplaces, that kind of thing. I border them with this so that the players have that more immersive feel as they're walking through. Now I will discuss with you at some point the map making techniques of overheads with roofs and stuff like that, but that's a little bit more complicated. But if it's something that people want, just let me know in the comments. I will go over it at some point soon with playlists and stuff like that, more complicated stuff. Now effectively with the secret doors, we bring Elise down here. Because you can already see in here, that's because I, the player, had seen in here using Reno. But the players themselves, just because Reno went in, the player of Reno might know that that's there, but the player of Elise wouldn't actually know that that's there. They also would only be able to see the fact that there's a door there by actually having the door there. If I open it, they can see through it. If I close it, they can't. But they cannot open or close this door. But if we take, for example, let's move this away and we'll put a door here. But let's also take this wall away. And then let's put an ethereal wall right here, okay? So let's put an ethereal wall there, and then let me take away this, and we'll put a secret door here, okay? So the player is in bed. They cannot see through this wall. They can see out the window or whatever, that's fine, but they cannot see through this wall. But they could walk through the wall. You see that? Because it's an ethereal wall rather than a normal wall, which means that it's able for them to get through. As I've apparently not put a door on this room, that means that the only way in would actually be an ethereal door. The second one is then this hidden door, but they may not know that that opens. But let's say that there's, I don't know, a creepy bartender who's in this room and they want to open the wall and attempt to assassinate our Elise here. They can open this and sneak in during the night, you know? They might know the ins and outs of this map in ways that your players might not. And this gives you more control and leeway with the tactics that you're using. The players would just see the actual physical wall. They can see that there's part of a wall there. They don't have any reason to be suspicious, but it opens at night. You know? It could just be something simple like that. Now, when it comes to lighting, what's interesting about lighting is that it actually is impacted by the environmental walls too. So what we'll do is we'll switch to lighting and we'll switch this to nighttime. So you click on the moon and it will make the map gradually darker and darker, as you can see. Now, you can see that there is a light active, but that's because on the map that I made, there was a lighting path there, but that doesn't mean that the players can see the lighting. That just means that there was a light there. What we'll do is we'll take a little light source. You click on the light bulb and you can drag it as big as you want. You can make it as big like this. Just press delete while you're hovering over it to delete them. What I'll do is I'll put this here. I don't quite remember what the average torch is. I think it's 15 bright and 30 dim. Let's just say that's what it is. Now, the basic configuration is that this light is set up and I want to use it as the same source as this one, and any torch I have on the map. So what we'll do is we have our light radius here, 15 bright, 30 dim. The coordinates are just where it is on the map. The initial angle means, do I want it to be like, if I switch it to 180 degrees, you'll see that it sort of only lights up 180 degree radius. And if I turn this, I can choose which way I want that 180 degrees to face. But what I will do is, because the torch is going to be 360 and it'll be blocked by the wall. So you can see that it's going through the window here and the window here, but it is actually blocked by the wall. So here isn't being lit up. Now, for the light color, what I like to do is grab maybe like a nice orange. It gets really bright, so you can drag down the intensity just a little bit. And darkness activation range means that when you're setting the screen to dark, like I did just for nighttime and for daytime, you can do the same. There's a threshold that goes from 0 to 100. So you can always go for, like, say at 0.2, the torch would be active, but not anything beyond 0.2, 0.1, or 0.0. But anything beyond 0.2 to 1, that means that the light will be active. So I'll show you what that means now in just a second, okay? So let's change this to 0.5, okay? Light animation. Now this is, I'm going to set this to torch. There's a ton of these, but torch just adds a flicker. Now that is really fast, so I'm going to slow that down all the way. It's a bit slower. I can do the animation intensity to make it bigger bursts or perhaps a smaller burst. Make it a little bit more realistic. And advanced options is constrained by walls. So you can say no, so it goes through the wall. You can also say that it provides vision, because it should. It's the light source. You can use different techniques for lighting. So like this is the old one. You can have it so that there's an internal section that's almost like a halo. It's a little bit hard to see with torch on. External halo is just kind of an outside glow that follows the rings. And gradual illumination means that when you're transitioning between bright and dark, will it absolutely instantly turn on, or will it just gradually come on? We want it to gradually come on to be more realistic feel. Generally, like this is with oil lanterns and stuff. I'll just use it with torches for the moment because a torch would just instantly come on, but we'll just use that for the moment. Background saturation, do you want this to be just like really colorful lighting, or do you want this to be almost black and white? You can use that to take the light out of a specific room or something like that, which is kind of cool. Generally, dim vision just means you see like this the entire time, but when a light comes on, you would actually see in color, so that's pretty cool too. I'll leave it at 0. Contrast again is just like changing the contrast of the overall brightness caused by the torch. And background shadows just means, are you highlighting like all the things on your map, just making them look crazy? If you're using a magic torch, like a dark magic torch or something, you might use this. So for the moment, what we have is our color intensity. We might just change that a little bit. There we go. We have it set to 0.5. Now, I want to use this torch as every torch. So if I hover over it and I press Control and C, we've copied the ambient object. We press Control V. We just pop that down here. Control V. Pop that here. Control V. Right there. There's a torch here, I believe. Of all my torches. I believe that is. So what we do is we come off that now, and we can see that torches have been set up. Now, I'll delete the players from this map, and again, I will reset the Fog of War. Okay, so what we'll do then is we will set up our fire here. How that works is you can, I don't know, let's say grab a light. We'll make it, the torches are already 15, so we'll make this 20. Why not? By 40. There you go, huge fire. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did with the torch. I'm going to make this a little bit more reddish, maybe this kind of color. We'll change this so it's maybe adaptive. We'll bring the luminosity up a little bit more. And so as you can see, you get a ton of settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to maybe say 180 for the moment. A little bit unrealistic. So 190, curve it back a little bit. And we'll put this right there. Just reset all my settings. Okay. So we'll set this to 190. We'll set this back to red. I'm not sure why it reset my settings there. That keeps happening. Light animation type will set to torch. Animation speed will bring way down. The animation intensity will bring way down. And the color intensity will drag back just a little bit. So darkness activation range, we'll set this to 0.1 just for the moment. And so now you can see this has a darker hue to it than the other lights, but it looks like it's not going past the wall, which the walls will protect it from anyway, but I like having it on that kind of 180, 190 range to kind of give it that sort of semicircle look, which is just nicer when it comes to just your walls and your length. Now, as you can see, these are all flicking away. It looks very realistic, but what happens when it goes to daytime? Because we did set it for that, you know. So you transition to daytime. And as it transitions and as the light hits certain points, at 0.5, these turns off. And then at 0.1, somewhere around there, this should turn off too. Now, if you want to make this look a little bit more realistic, what you could always do is say that this is 0.2. This is 0.25, let's say. This is 0.3. 0.4 and 0.45. Now, what'll happen here is that while we're going through this, we will transition to darkness again. And as it transitions away to darkness, you'll notice that the lights switch on in different sequence, different order. Just makes it look a little bit cleaner when you're when you're setting up the actual lighting. But effectively, that is mostly it when it comes to walls and lighting. We can now just send our Reno in. He can go around and do what he needs to do. Take a look around, open up the doors, and yeah, he can wander around. It makes it really immersive for your players. Sometimes tweaking a little bit of the colors, the same as when you're painting minifigures and models, right? Or making a battle map of your own. Making it a little bit of tweaks and a little bit of changes to make it more immersive generally gives the players just this better feel, and you as a DM with the overview a much nicer feel as well. Effectively, that should be it when it comes to walls and lighting, but if there are any other questions or if there's anything you'd like to know, feel free to let me know. I will be doing module reviews on some of the lighting modules and wall modules soon to show you just the different things that you can actually do with roofs and walls and stuff like that when we get to that point. And when it comes to lighting and stuff, there are tons of modules for lighting. But when we updated to 0.9, a lot of that changed. You don't need as many modules anymore to do the things that we used to need a lot of modules to do. So it's pretty good. It's great. Foundry are definitely doing a lot of work to get this up to date and to make it run as smoothly as possible, and to need as little as possible to make it run in such a nice way. So if you have any questions or any problems, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to help. And I appreciate you being here today to check this out. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.